Welcome. Today we uncovered the dark truth behind the greatest oracle of the ancient world. For centuries, men believed the Delphi oracle spoke words from Apollo to guide mighty kings. What if the greatest prophet in Greek history was never touched by gods, but poisoned by the earth? Deep beneath the temple, an invisible chemical force rose from the earth to consume her fragile mind. Modern science steps into the shadows to expose a political trap built on deadly poison. According to ancient records, the Greek world was ruled not by kings, but by whispers of the gods. No massive army marched, no city was built, without first seeking the divine wisdom of Apollo. The journey to sacred Parnassus was dangerous, demanding immense wealth and unwavering faith.
To the sacred summit.
Proud rulers traveled from across the Mediterranean Sea to reach this absolute holy sanctuary. They brought countless heavy chests filled with gleaming gold coins, precious silver, and rare, sparkling jewels. This massive wealth was freely given as a humble tribute to buy a moment with the chosen prophet. She was known as the Pythia, a simple local woman selected to serve as the vessel for the god. Historical texts claim she possessed the ultimate power to see through time and predict the dark future. Before the grand marble columns of the temple, powerful warlords knelt in absolute fear and deep respect. The air outside was filled with the sweet smell of burning incense and the quiet prayers of desperate pilgrims. Priests in dark woolen robes stood at the entrance, their cold eyes judging the value of every single gift. They were the gatekeepers of destiny, deciding who was worthy enough to hear the voice of the god. For a king facing a tragic war, a good prophecy could inspire his men to fight with absolute fury. But a dark warning could shatter the morale of an entire empire before a single sword was drawn. So they waited in silence, clutching their golden crowns, terrified of the judgment that awaited them below. The temple above was a masterpiece of architecture, glowing under the Mediterranean sun. Yet the true source of this immense power was hidden deep underground, away from the warm light of day. A narrow stone staircase led down into the dark belly of the earth, where the air grew incredibly heavy. Only the Pythia and the high priests were allowed to descend into this forbidden, sacred chamber. The contrast was sharp. Above was the logic of Greece, while below was a terrifying world of dark chaos. Every step down took them away from reality, closer to a mysterious force lurking in the rock. The kings could only watch as the Pythia vanished into the shadows, carrying the fate of their nations. It was a perfect system of psychological control, built on the universal fear of the unknown. Historians note the oracle never gave a straight answer, speaking only in complex, twisting riddles. If a king lost his war, the priests would simply blame his foolish lack of understanding the divine words. The gods were never wrong. It was only mortal men who failed to grasp the true meaning of the holy words. This clever defense ensured that the grand Temple of Delphi never lost its flawless, absolute power. Gold continued to flow into their vaults, making the priests the richest men in the ancient known world. They built grand treasuries to store the tribute, massive monuments to their unmatched influence. But what was truly happening down in that dark cave, where the Pythia supposedly met the god of light? Was it a genuine spiritual connection? Or something far more sinister and devastating? To understand the illusion, we must leave the sun behind and enter the suffocating darkness of the pit. If you held the power to decide the fate of nations, Would you use it for truth or for total control? The inner sanctum was a claustrophobic cavern carved directly into the heart of the limestone rock. A sweet-smelling vapor constantly leaked from a deep, jagged crack in the uneven floor of the dark cave. The Pythia, dressed in a white linen tunic, approached the glowing fissure with slow, trembling footsteps. She sat on a tall, bronze tripod chair, positioning herself directly above the mysterious gas. As she breathed the heavy vapors, her body began to react violently to the toxic chemical force. Her pale skin became slick with cold sweat, reflecting the dim, flickering orange light of the torches. According to Plutarch, her eyes would roll back, and she would enter a state of uncontrollable frenzy. Her muscles spasmed uncontrollably, as if a powerful, alien entity possessed her form.
The light.
White foam bubbled at her mouth, while she desperately gasped for air in the suffocating atmosphere. Then, the voice of the god would allegedly speak, but it sounded nothing like a human language. She let out horrifying shrieks, deep groans, and a stream of fragmented, nonsensical syllables. To the untrained ear, it was the terrifying sound of pure madness, echoing against the damp stone walls. But the high priests, lurking silently in the deep shadows, listened intently to every frantic sound. Armed with sharp styluses and wax tablets, they rapidly translated her severe agony into poetry. They claimed to know the divine will, shaping her painful gasps into perfectly structured, elegant verse. It was here, in the dark, that the true political genius of the Delphi sanctuary was revealed. The priests were not just religious leaders, they were the best intelligence network in the ancient world. Pilgrims from every nation brought them valuable news about troop movements and secret alliances.
If we are caught, pray to Hades that you are not.
Using this global information with the vague ramblings of the Pythia, they crafted responses. When King Croesus asked to attack Persia, the oracle said a great empire would be destroyed. Empowered by the prophecy, he marched to war, only to see his own empire burned to the ground. The prophecy was technically true, saving the temple's reputation while a king lost everything. The priests watched from the shadows, their faces twisted into cold, calculating smiles of arrogance. They manipulated nations, using a severely sick woman as their unquestionable shield. The heavy gas continued to flow, fueling the illusions of the faithful and the pockets of the corrupt. For centuries, the nature of that sweet-smelling vapor remained a terrifying, unsolved mystery. Later scholars dismissed the gas as a myth, claiming no such strange geological feature existed. They argued that the Pythia was simply acting, faking her violent seizures to trick the masses. But the accounts of her physical suffering, the sweat and erratic pulse, were too consistent to ignore. Some women even perished after their sessions, their bodies broken by the intense, mysterious strain. The ancient Greeks believed the gas was the breath of a decaying python, slain by Apollo's arrow. It took over 2,000 years for modern science to catch up with the legends of the old world. When faith demands severe suffering, when do we stop worshipping the god and question the corrupt priest? We leap forward to the modern era, where the magnificent Temple of Apollo lies in ruin. The gold is gone, the priests are dust, and only broken marble columns remain under the clear blue sky. In the late 20th century, a team of dedicated geologists arrived at the site. Armed with advanced ground-penetrating radar, they sought to solve the ancient mystery hidden beneath. Their discovery forever changed our view of history and religious manipulation. A complex seismic scan revealed two massive tectonic fault lines intersecting below the temple. Known as the Delphi and Kerna faults, they crossed exactly beneath the location of the Adyton room. Deep within the Earth's crust, immense friction heated the limestone, releasing trapped, invisible gases. This toxic gas seeped upward through the rock, filling the closed cave with a dangerous, deadly vapor. The modern geologists analyzed the water from the ancient springs surrounding the temple. Their delicate instruments detected traces of a sweet-smelling chemical known as ethylene. In the early 20th century, doctors widely used ethylene gas as an anesthetic. When inhaled in small doses, it produces a floating sensation and deep mental detachment. But in an enclosed space like the unventilated cave, the vapor became highly concentrated. High levels of this invisible gas trigger severe physical tremors and violent seizures. The victim's brain struggles for oxygen, plunging the mind into chaotic hallucinations. This clinical diagnosis matches ancient descriptions of the Pythia perfectly. She was breathing a natural narcotic that slowly destroyed her fragile nervous system. The sweet smell the ancient historians reported was the signature scent of ethylene. Buried far beneath the earth, the tragic reality of the holy sanctuary becomes clear. The Pythia was not a glorious bridge connecting the mortal world to divine wisdom. She was merely an innocent local woman placed inside a natural toxic gas chamber. In the dense yellow mist of her poisoned mind, she saw horrific, twisted visions of the future. She endured agonizing physical pain, while the rich temple continued to grow its vast wealth. Modern toxicology proves that prolonged exposure to this gas ultimately leads to death. This scientific discovery dismantles the greatest spiritual myth of antiquity. The ancient gods were entirely silent, but the rocks beneath their feet were screaming loudly. Apollo did not speak through the trembling oracle. The fractured geology of Greece did. The terrifying, violent seizures that struck fear into kings were symptoms of brain damage. Through the clear lens of modern science, the sacred magic fades into a harsh reality. The priests were well aware of the dangerous, intoxicating effects of the hidden cavern. They carefully protected the secret source, ensuring their monopoly on absolute power. They replaced the dying prophets with new young women to maintain their profitable illusion. Now we must ask a darker question about the true architects of this ancient empire. Stripped of their divine disguise, the high priests emerge as the absolute political masters. They did not rely on the random ravings of a heavily poisoned and suffering woman. The gas only provided the frightening theatrical performance needed to terrify kings. Behind the terrifying screams, brilliant men were carefully analyzing global intelligence. They possessed a vast network of dedicated spies operating in every corner of Greece. Every pilgrim who visited the temple unknowingly gave them very useful secrets.
If we are caught, they will sacrifice us.
We must risk it.
They knew which cities suffered terrible droughts and which armies were preparing for deadly war. Armed with crucial facts, They composed predictions that cleverly guided international politics. Their famously ambiguous language was a brilliant strategy to avoid ever being wrong. They managed the delicate balance of power across the turbulent Mediterranean region. The tragic figure of the Pythia was nothing but a sacrificial pawn in their grand game. She slowly collapsed on the cold stone floor, utterly destroyed by the toxic environment. Her fragile mind was totally shattered, leaving her an empty shell, devoid of any human life. Meanwhile, the arrogant high priest stood tall and proud in the shadows, holding a golden coin. He felt absolutely no remorse for the innocent lives constantly sacrificed for his power. The magnificent temple was a flawless, cruel machine designed to extract wealth through blind faith. We must acknowledge the stunning intellectual brilliance of this historical deception. The priests of Delphi practically governed the ancient world without commanding a single army. They understood that men fear the wrath of the invisible gods far more than mortal swords. By controlling the voice of Apollo, they actively directed the destiny of mankind. Modern geology shatters the magical illusion, exposing the hard, physical evidence. Yet, the dark political legacy of the Delphi oracle remains embedded in our culture. It teaches a timeless, bitter lesson about the dangerous intersection of faith and power. When we strip away the mystical fog of legend, we find only the ambition of mortal men. The true magic of the ancient temple was never its supposed connection to the heavens. It was the profound psychological mastery over the deep fears hidden within the soul. The tragic priestess sacrificed her life so that brilliant politicians could comfortably rule. We look back at the ruined marble stones and realize that history is written in deception. Ethylene gas created the terrifying visions, but human greed actively shaped the world. The next time you hear a legendary tale of miraculous intervention, look very closely. There is usually a shadow hiding in the dark, pulling the invisible strings of belief. The Oracle of Delphi has fallen silent, but her tragic, cautionary story echoes forever. The Oracle was an illusion, but her powerful hallucinations shaped human history. Were the priests ruthless manipulators of faith, or masterminds protecting Greece? Share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this historical mystery, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel today.